What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Driven New Review. My name is Ryan. Today I got a really exciting video for you guys. I've been waiting a while to make this video because there's been a few aspects to it. It took a little bit of time to put together, but we're just going to dive right into it, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what I got. I apologize for not uploading recently. I've just been slammed with the work. I just got back from San Francisco. I know it's been like a month, but I'm hoping to make up for that with a couple of fun videos for you guys. Starting off with this one. So essentially, if you guys have seen my previous videos, my exhaust setup as of the last time I talked to you guys was my deletes that my buddy Ryder welded up for me, along with the Magnaflow Neo catback, which the setup is very loud. It's extremely loud and raspy. I like it for the ghost cam idle. I think it sounds awesome for that idle sound, but driving around, it's not super practical, especially around here. So what I did, once a Magnaflow, the first thing they did was swap the valves on the exhaust. So if you guys saw my review of the Neo setup, my only thing with that setup was that I purchased Magnaflow's valves for the system, and the valves didn't really do a great job at switching like volume levels. They were just kind of like, the quiet mode wasn't too quiet, and this is with the converter still on the car. So it was, my original setup was converters, X pipe, and then back to the mufflers with the active exhaust. And the valves just didn't do a great job. They didn't do as good of a job as the OEM valves did. And that was kind of my only, I don't know if I'd say complaint, but just one of the things I wasn't too happy about with that system. So I almost rather would have gone with their, like, instead of the valves, you can just do the little like disc inserts that they have, where you just go in there and you can put in a couple kind of discs in like this valve. So like in this tip, sorry. So right here, so here's the valve, right? That's for the active exhaust. And then this is the muffler side. So if you don't have the valve here, you can put little disc inserts like where that valve would be. You can swap little discs, and they're like little mesh metal discs that change the volume of your exhaust. So they're like little manual inserts. And I almost rather would have done that than have gone with their valves, because I just didn't think they were that great, and I didn't think they were doing that much. So essentially what I did was went to them. They were super cool, and they actually installed some OEM style valves in this setup. So beforehand, the valves that they had installed were, like the valve piece when it's closed looks like this, but there were little gaps on the top and bottom where the little rods connect from the actuator down to the bottom of the pipe. And I think that's what the main problem was, because that was allowing a lot of volume to escape. But now these discs, enclosed in quiet mode, it covers the whole pipe, so all of your sound gets redirected into the mufflers. So that was the first thing they did, and I was super happy with that. Even with the X pipe and the deletes, like, I could put it in quiet mode, and I got, it was quieter than it would be in track mode, but it was still, loud, because it was just straight pipe back to the car, or back to the mufflers. So they did that. It went great. No issues with that. I was super happy with that. It was super awesome. I went back about 2 weeks later, and basically what they did for me was, if you guys know much about Magnaflow, so with my setup, you could have gotten the X pipe, or on the X mod system, you get the X pipe or you get the resonator. And so the resonator was an internal X pipe, but it was also a muffler, so it made the car quieter overall. So originally that's what I was going to do, until they actually were able to fabricate me a H pipe resonator, which is what they did for the 2024 Mustang. So right now I have the H pipe resonator, which it takes the overall volume down by quite a bit, but it also eliminates a good amount of that raspiness you get from the deletes. So it has a really nice tone to it. The volume's right about where I want it. I wish it was a little bit louder in track mode, but I'd rather have it be a little too quiet than too loud. So no complaints there at all. It sounds great. I'm super happy with the sound, so let me just start it up. Get you guys on a cold start here. It's right about E80. I'm running about an E80 mixture right now. And I'll start it up just in the normal mode. I won't turn on the ghost cam until later, so you guys can hear that too. That's the other thing with the muffler, the ghost cam does get a little bit dampened, but it's not as bad as with the converters on it. So overall, no complaints. The really nice thing about this too is swapping the H-pipe resonator with my X-pipe is not difficult. You know, it's 4 O-band clamps, which is a lot easier than doing the downpipes, because I had to go in there and it's just hard to get the downpipes on and off just because of how the headers are kind of where they land and how they're made. So I'm really happy with it. I don't think I do anything differently. So I'm gonna show you guys how this sounds. So yeah, let's set you guys up. I'll start it up in track mode. I'm not gonna bother with starting up in quiet mode, but I'll start it up in track mode so you guys can hear it. And yeah, let's see what it sounds like. I'm really happy with the way it sounds. It has that nice kind of throaty, low pitch sound to it because of the H pipe. I'm really happy with how it sounds. The normal idle has a good volume to it. It's not too quiet, it's not too loud. I think the first thing I'll do, let me set you guys up. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rev it a little bit in track mode, and then I'm gonna rev it a little bit in quiet mode. I don't think there's a huge point in trying to go between normal and sport, because with this microphone, I just don't think you'll really be able to tell a huge difference. So first rev will be in track mode. I'll probably just go up to like 3,000, 3,500. Second rev will be in quiet mode. One other thing to mention about this too is adding the resonator in the center added more back pressure, which increased the torque. Because I think with the deletes into the X-pipe, there just wasn't enough back pressure on the engine, and I wasn't getting a good amount of like low-end torque, which I could feel too, because sometimes going in the throttle, sometimes it would kind of, I don't know the correct terms for this exactly, but sometimes it would kind of like cut. So I'd be accelerating and I would feel like I'd start to lean forward and then I'd go back more. Like it almost felt like the engine was losing, like cutting itself and then coming back in. And I've not experienced that with this mid muffler. So if you guys have had that problem with your deletes, any similar issue, just let me know, especially on the automatic, because you don't have control over it. If you guys have had that experience, I'd love to hear it. But anyway, let's get back to it. So again, first rev will be in track mode, second will be in quiet mode. I hope you guys will be able to tell the difference. I think you will. I'll probably set you guys off axis from the car a little bit so you can kind of get a little bit better of a sound from the car, maybe like right here. So let me set you guys up and we'll listen to what it sounds like. I think you guys will be able to hear that, but there is a pretty significant difference between track and quiet mode now, which I was really happy about. Let me show you guys here too. So if you guys can kind of see what I was talking about. So this valve right here, so it's in quiet mode. Make sure you guys can hear me. So it's in quiet mode. So you guys will see the valve is closed. So if you guys look at it, where the rod's like attached to the valve itself, The top part right there is where that gap was in the old valves. So now you guys can see how it's fully like how the valve is fully covering the pipe. So check it out. So I hope you guys can see that. I can't really tell, it's too bright here, but so overall, I'm really happy with the setup. It's not, you know, obnoxiously loud. I can get on the gas without worrying about, you know, other people's ears or, you know, hearing, you know, other people hearing me too much. So let me throw on the ghost cam. We'll see what that sounds like. I'll start it in track mode. I'll put it in quiet mode again. With that idle, I don't notice a huge difference because the H-pipe really is only cutting volume in the higher pitched, like above like 3,000 RPM, I would say. Like that's kind of what the H-pipe is known for compared to the X-pipe. The X-pipe is kind of known for lower volumes at lower RPM and higher at higher. So yeah, I'll start the ghost cam in track mode, and then, or actually no, I'm gonna start in quiet mode, so you guys can probably hear a little bit better of a difference. And then I'll switch it into track mode. You guys will kind of hear the valves open, and then I'll also mark it on the video. So let me set you guys up and we'll listen to that. Overall, guys, again, really happy with this setup. I don't really have any other thoughts on it. I mean, I think it sounds great. You know, the back pressure is very helpful. The valves were a major increase in, you know, overall, in my overall happiness and contentness with the setup. So yeah, I mean, I'll drive around a little bit, give you guys some sound clips. I'll just hook you guys up onto my, probably onto my dash here. And then, yeah, so let's hop in and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, so we're on my favorite road here. One of my favorite roads. So I think what I'm gonna throw in track mode and track driving mode and exhaust mode. Sometimes, I don't know, I hear a little bit more of the like popping, like the backfire noises in track mode sometimes. So hopefully we can get some of those in there, but if not, either way. So exhaust is in track mode. I'll throw in paddle mode too, so I can get some higher RPM noises for you guys. So yeah, I'll just keep driving. Windows are cracked. I won't be going too fast, so hopefully the wind noises won't be too bad. But let's just pull off here once this light turns green. And I'll show you guys what it sounds like. So it has a really nice low tone to it. I really like the tone. Wind is kind of I'd love to hear it so I can, you know, learn a little bit more, and just so I can know your guys' experience too. I'm just trying to wait for these cars to leave a little bit. There's cars in front of me, so I'm trying to wait until they pass. But I'm really happy with the overall tone. It's not obnoxious, it's not annoying, and, you know, I'm happy with it, so that's all I can really say about that, you know. But yeah, like, I love the sound it makes. I love everything about it. You still get some of that catless tone, you know, in your higher RPMs. You know, it's not completely eliminated, which I like, but I don't know. Overall, I'm happy with it. Wouldn't have done anything differently. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. I'll do a little bit more cruising around. They closed the windows too. I'll do a little bit more driving around just so you guys can hear some normal driving tones. The drone is not that bad at all. I'm just happy with it all around. Yeah, you know, with this system, the mufflers have that like no drone technology. So even though there is a little bit of drone in track mode, which drone has never bothered me at all. I know some people it does. So if you are one of those people, you don't like the drone on the freeway, this system, you throw it in quiet mode, sound gets into the mufflers, and the mufflers have those little like pipes sticking out the rear of them that eliminate the drone. And I do know, like, that does make a big difference in quiet mode. You know, if I'm cruising, toss it into quiet mode, any of that drone that is there goes away. So it's pretty cool, but just something I've never really thought much about. But I will tell you guys again, if you guys don't like drone, it eliminates the drone, especially with downpipes. Your drone does get increased by a pretty significant amount. So just know that. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, in track mode, the drone, I'd probably give it a 6, maybe. I'm trying to think of in relative terms, because to me, personally, I'd give it like a 3.5 or 4, because I just don't care about it. But I'd still, maybe for like other people, I'd still rate it maybe a 6. In quiet mode, I'd probably give it a 4.5, maybe a 4. Again, that's just me. Take that lightly, because that's just my, you know, 2 cents. That's just my opinion. So yeah, take that with what you will. But and I'm talking about all of that drone noises between the track and quiet mode. I am talking about with these OEM valves they installed, with the valves that Magnaflow originally was selling, and I think they still might be. I don't know what they decided to do about these valves, but with those like valves that they were selling with the exhausts, not a big difference between quiet and track mode, as I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, my first thought when I had this setup installed was like, this probably, as far as like average tone and volume, might be pretty close to if you had your converters and an H pipe, just like a normal H pipe. I would say I haven't actually had that set up, but I have had it with the X pipe, and I would take an educated guess to say that it is a pretty close volume level. I think this would be a little bit louder. This setup is a little bit louder than, you know, your normal converters with the H pipe overall. But I know some people just doing deletes or downpipes. It's for some people. It's not for some people. So I don't know. I mean, I would love to get every kind of exhaust setup I could on this car to show you guys, and that's kind of my objective with this channel, is to show, like, because I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I want to get this exhaust setup, but I just don't know how it's going to sound. Like, I don't want to get an exhaust, a catback. I don't want to do a, you know, resonator delete without knowing how it's going to sound in person, because, you know, YouTube videos never really do it justice. So that's kind of why I like to do these videos and try and get a little bit more in depth between, like, the differences between exhaust setups. I try and kind of give my opinions on them, to the best I can, and, you know, set you guys up behind the car, in the car, so you guys can hear the differences. So yeah, I mean, and you know, I do have the X pipe with the converters. I run that setup. I ran it for 3 months straight, and I just kind of ran it for about a month after I did the deletes. And this setup compared to that setup, overall volume level, I'd say might be the same. This would be a little bit louder maybe, but with the X pipe, you know, as I was talking about earlier, with the X pipe, you gain a lot more of that higher, like the raspiness, higher end volume, which I like, because, you know, when you're really getting on it and you want to hear that, like that sound of that high RPM, just like that engine, you know, really moving, like, I get it. This setup to me also, I mean, it has like a pretty good high-end volume level, but I don't know, I think overall it's just smoother. I know I'm talking about this a lot, it might be confusing, but I think the volume between the bands is higher overall than my previous setup, but you do just lose a lot of that like higher end kind of punch and volume. But again, that's just my opinion. And again, this is all Magnaflow, so I know when you go to like Corsa and you know, different other Roush, other exhaust manufacturers, that all of that will change depending on how they create the system and how they make it for the car. So this is a very, like, you know, custom setup. This isn't like a normal, like, buy from the store, buy from a Magnaflow setup. So I know maybe this doesn't target a big audience, but I hope for those of you who are kind of in the same spot as I am can learn a little bit about this, and also give me some feedback on what you guys might want to hear in the future, things I should talk about a little bit more or talk about a little bit less. I'm stuck in traffic right now, so I can't really show you guys a whole lot, but I think that pretty much wraps up the video. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, leave your feedback down in the comments below. Any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know. I respond to my comments pretty quickly, so I'm usually like really good at that. So yeah, just let me know either way. But this has been Driven Review. Like and subscribe. Ryan out.